Hi, welcome to Matt's Garage. Today we're going to install a modern stereo with a retro look in this 1950 Chevy pickup. The materials we're using today come from Retrosound. They're seem to be the only game in the business that does this kind of work. But it's a really interesting system. I've installed dozens of stereos, and this one's a little bit different from your typical single DIN stereo. The heart of the system are their motors, and they all have the same frame that looks like this, okay? And obviously this has no face, it's just the brains of the operation. And then depending on what year, make, model you're trying to mimic, it'll come with a face that attaches to the front there, and that will complete the look. In the case of the 1950 Chevy, it comes with this bezel that slides in behind the dash and gives it that, and this will come through like this. And boom, you've got a classic looking stereo, but it's got Bluetooth and modern connections and everything. The knobs that come with it actually attach in. So these are the knobs. There's a plate that these sit through, this one in this case. And then they attach to the stereo using like looks like a phone jack, old style phone jack. And then it's got your typical connectors for everything from speakers to your power connections and whatnot. So there's several components. It doesn't require a fair amount of assembly. We're going to find out how straightforward it is, but compared to other things on this channel, this should be fairly straightforward. So yeah, and everything's labeled. It tells you where everything goes. Most of this I'm not going to use except for the USB extension. I did order a USB extension that you can mount onto the dash. So this one you can either drill a hole in your dash and mount this plug into it, or use the supplied, I don't know what you would call this, trapezoidal mount thing. Okay, so it comes with all the knobs, all the screws, all the jacks. It comes with a microphone for Bluetooth hands-free calling. These mounts, and then the back strap, which they say is very important. It says it voids the warranty if you don't use a back strap to support the back of the stereo. Otherwise, it's kind of cantilevering off of the faceplate, and they don't want you to do that. I am not sponsored in any way, but if you'd like to help, you can go to my Patreon page, which is in the comments. In addition to the stereo, I also ordered a 5x7 single stereo speaker, so it's got two tweeters to give you the stereo sound. Even though it's coming from the center of the dash, I really didn't want to, you know, make it too crazy. I just wanted some tunes in the Chevy, and then a hideaway antenna. The Chevy doesn't have an antenna, and even if it did, I don't think I'd want to use it. This one you can just tape up behind the dash, and it's supposed to work pretty good. We'll see. Let's show you what we're working with inside the cab. I'm going to give a very rare shout out to the previous owner.
Previous owner shout out.
Normally, we're always cursing POs, but in this case, they did not molest the dash. So it's got the stock stereo mounting location. I just need to pull out these filler plates. I'm going to see if I can take this panel out. That would help with the installation and reaching behind. And I think the speaker goes back here. That comes out there. First step done. Now, I don't know how much of this is stock, but I'm using a 3/8 wrench to get back here and grab this nut, and an Allen wrench to undo the fitting. After you loosen these three bottom screws, there's a nut that attaches this Chevrolet trim piece in here. It's kind of awkward to get to, but you got to go under the dash and take that nut off. Okay, that comes out giving you way better access to everything back here. Be careful with this stuff, it's extraordinarily expensive. I think. I don't know, it feels expensive. So this plate, I don't know if it's like a piece they bought online. Take this plate out. Before I go assemble the unit, I'm just gonna spend a minute to find two power sources. One switched on the ignition and two constant. The constant helps keep its memory and drive the speakers, and the switched obviously is what turns it on and off. So, and this is a custom, so I'm not gonna show that. This is a custom Chevy, so your application will vary. I'm just gonna find a couple circuits that work. I got lucky while using the multimeter. The cigarette lighter is constant 12 volt, and then there was a random red wire hanging in under there that's ignition switched on to 12 volts. So double lucky, and I'll use the ground that this used, and that should make the wiring super simple. And now that I know what all my power is, I'm going to disconnect the battery so I can work safely on the wiring. Okay, back on the bench, we're going to assemble the stereo. So inside this hole, there's a little cable you got to pull out right here. It's a little ribbon cable. And you're supposed to look inside and make sure it's connected to the motherboard, which in this case it is. Okay? It can only go one way into the brain box in the back of this. That goes in there. You want it to click this side down. Now you'll notice this has the Retrosound logo, so that's up. It's also XM, Sirius XM ready. I'm not a user, so I didn't buy whatever you need to make that work, but you can if you want to. In the bag with the faceplate, there's these tiny little machine screws, and they're in a little orange baggie. So there's two side brackets. They attach here. This is what basically gives it its mounting strength other than the back bracket. So the chrome goes there. So you take the little lock rings, and you go nut, lock ring, and then another nut goes on there. So nut, lock ring, nut, lock ring. Sorry, nut, lock ring, nut. To say I'm not happy with the fit and finish is an understatement. The way these knobs work is there's this escutcheon that contours to the Chevy dash. There's this intermediate knob that adjusts sound left and right, and then the power and volume control knob. That all is fine, but it needs to be sticking out of the dash straight, okay? First of all, these holes in the bevel, they don't line up with the Chevy holes, so you have to open up the upper part of these just to be able to get these through straight. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, this is straight up and down parallel to the actual stereo, but this is angled back to meet the Chevy's dash. So you're like coming through this thing at an angle. So it's not really intuitive. And for you to have enough room to get the knob on, you want this as far forward as you can get it, and these holes don't line up. So I have to open up these holes. Well, this has been fun. Not fun. I'm 3 hours into the installation, and I have had to weld and modify my brackets so that they fit, basically. It's been a total pain. So this, this plate that I welded on here, I cut some of this off, welded this plate here, and now it sits very close to the faceplate. So it doesn't fit. There's like a 1/4 inch gap between the edge of the bracket and the faceplate, and needs to be right up against the faceplate for it to work. Okay, I've got it adjusted. This one needed to come back a little bit. This one the left side was spot on, so we're ready to install it. I've already test fit the back strap, so I can just attach that to the dash. I'm going to install this so I don't have to reach back there. Okay, I'm gonna get the bezel in here. And put the nut on. Nice job. Nice job, dummy. Okay. All right, those are in there solid. So that's kind of how it looks. Looks good. Pain to install. So for the rear bracket, I just bent this tab. It's going to bolt into the dash here. So I'm going to do that and then get this speaker figured out. So the speaker is nice with chrome and flames, but it doesn't fit a 47 to 54 Chevy. The ones that do have like a bracket that has holes up at the top, and it's usually 2 speakers side by side. But what I did was I just made a custom bracket that attaches to the dashboard, and I wired up everything. So I'm just going to slide this in and screw it on, connect it, and we should be able to test it. For the antenna that hides behind the dash, I zip tied it to the strap that that holds the back of the stereo up. So theoretically, I should be able to hook up my battery, and this should work. Let's see. Retrosound, so it's working. Sorry.
Other motives.
Oh, it's completely other motives.
Nice.
So.
Mute, FM, mute, okay. So how do I go? No, I don't want auto seek. Sirius, okay, AUX, Bluetooth audio. All right, Retrosound. Okay, it says connected. Preventative maintenance on my friend Brian's Bronco to help him finish his 5,000-mile epic journey.
Let's go.
All right, this is super meta, man. Sorry. So I'm going to take you way back to season 3, Lone Star Broncos. I'd forgotten the name of the episode. Brian remembered it. So nice. That works, man. That works great. So I'm going to button this up. Looks good. Installation, fail. Looks pretty good. Well, can't say it was easy. I have mixed feelings about it. Now that it's in, it sounds good. It looks good. So the final product I'm happy with. But the installation was such a pain that it kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it or not. There's other companies that make ones that look exactly like the original ones that came with these trucks, but they're like $750 for the head unit. So it's more, like you can get the lowest grade motor on the Retrosound and it's like a couple $100. I got the Series 4 motor, which is like $400, but you know, is it worth it? I don't know. And I don't know if those are any better installed. Now, I did get the Retrosound for the Bronco as well. I was gonna try to make the original stereo work with like a wireless Bluetooth driver, but it ended up being too complicated. So I went with that for the Bronco. That's got a flat dash, so that's gonna be much easier, I think. But we'll see that on a future episode of Matt's Garage. Matt's Garage? Matt's Garage. Do I know my own name? I don't know. I spent 8 hours putting in a stereo. See you next time.